Hello everybody, my name is Ratnos. Today we're going to take a look at the set bonuses here in the 11.2 update, and then we'll also take a look at the appearances and some other cosmetics and stuff that are coming with the new patch, some mounts and things. Up first is DK. So Deathbringer DKs are going to be getting extra stacks of Exterminate when they cast Reaper's Mark that deal extra damage as well. And then the 4-piece is going to make Reaper's Mark stack up to 15 additional times and increase your crit chance by 10% after it explodes for 8 seconds. So something that jumps out to me here is that the blood side of this is only getting damage, no defensive value. We'll see if that's true for Sand Lane as well, because if it's not, then maybe that's just going to make Sand Lane the default defensive hero talent tree for Blood DK. Rider of the Apocalypse is getting a 2-piece and a 4-piece, of course, but it's different for basically Unholy and Frost. I don't know why it says Blood here. That's just data mining things, but of course it's only Unholy and Frost. For Unholy, Apocalypse is going to make Whitemane for 10 seconds, and then Whitemane, whether summoned by Apocalypse or by proc or by whatever the other thing is that summons it, it deals increased damage and infects an additional target when it spreads. Her Death Coil deals extra damage, and then whenever you Death Coil or Epidemic, Whitemane also Death Coils or Epidemics, and your Death Coil deals extra damage to targets affected by Whitemane's Undeath. On the Frost side of things, it's Pillar of Frost that's going to summon Trollbane. Trollbane is going to do more damage. His Obliterate is going to do more damage, again, whether or not you've summoned him randomly or what. And then the 4 set makes Obliterate or Frost Scythe order Trollbane to do his Obliterate or Frost Scythe alongside you at 100% effectiveness. Your Obliterate deals increased damage to targets affected by Trollbane's Icy Fury. So these strike me as pretty cooldown-oriented ones, because these are going to make your cooldowns substantially stronger. Sand Lane. Infliction of Sorrow extends the duration of your disease by additional time. Essence of the Blood Queen additionally increases your mastery by more per stack. So this is a defensive benefit for Blood, whereas there wasn't defensive benefit for Blood in Deathbringer. The 4-piece makes Blood Beast last longer. Vampiric Strike increasing the attack power of your Ghoul or Rune Weapon as well for by 10% for 6 seconds, overlapping. So this one's pure damage, but there is some defensive benefit on the Essence of the Blood Queen Mastery for Blood DK. I wonder if that will matter or not. Demon Hunter. Reaver's Glaive damage is going up by 60%, and physical damage is increased by 30% as well. Physical only damage, so not chaos damage. Aldrachi Reaver's 4-piece makes Havoc's Fury of the Aldrachi further empower Blade Dance, increasing slashes to 12, or Reaver's Mark now stacks up to 2 times, and further empowers Chaos Strike when cast after Blade Dance, applying an additional stack for 100% of normal duration. Huh. I thought you already got 2 stacks of Reaver's Mark, and maybe now you can get up to 3? Oh, no, wait, Reaver's Mark stacks up to 2 times. Oh, okay, so I guess you could do 2? So maybe you go Chaos Strike, Blade Dance, Chaos Strike, if I'm reading this right? I'm not 100% sure exactly how this is going to work, but then it's the same for Vengeance, except with the other flip-around abilities that based on the hero talent. Fellscarred. The 2-piece, Immo Aura deals 30% increased damage, Chaos Strike deals more damage while it's active, and then Soul Cleave for Vengeance, okay. 4-piece, entering Demon form now immediately induces a Demon Surge and shatters a Demon Soul Fragment that grants 20% increased damage for either 10 seconds for Havoc or 15 for Vengeance. This is going to be huge. Fellscarred Vengeance's burst window was already a lot of AoE damage. Now you're going to deal an extra Demon Surge, which means all your other Demon Surges are going to do more damage, and you're going to have a 20% increased damage buff if you can make sure you get that Demon Soul Fragment right away. So yeah, this is going to be huge for Vengeance AoE burst with the Fellscarred hero talent tree. Druid of the Claw. 2-piece makes Ravage give you more haste, have more crit chance, and the damage of your bleeds by 30% for 5 seconds. The Druid of the Claw 4-piece, Ravage has a 40% chance to make you ravage your target again 4 seconds later, so refreshing the dot and stuff and refreshing the 2-piece, at either 100% initial power for Feral or 60% for Guardian. Elun's Chosen. Starfire damage increased by 25%. Gaining Astral Power with Starfire has a 50% chance to give you a free Star Surge at 50% effectiveness. So basically, every time you cast Starfire, you are casting 25% of a Star Surge as well. For Guardian instead, you get Thrash damage going up by 20%, and Thrash has a 40% chance to launch a 65% effective Star Surge. So the number here is like 24% of a Star Surge every time you Thrash. Okay. Druid Elun's Chosen 4-piece, Balance On impact, Star Surges launched by Starfire split up to 3 additional targets at 80% effectiveness and give you a stack of Gathering Moonlight. Casting Fury or Full Moon consumes it to increase your damage by 4% per stack for 12 seconds. Wow. Guardian, on the other hand, makes the same thing happen, but at 20% effectiveness instead. But note that you're launching more Star Surges. And grant a stack of Gathering Moonlight. Casting Lunar Beam... Actually, you're launching less Star Surges than Balance, and they're doing a lot less damage. So you're not the much more AoE for Balance than for Guardian. Casting Lunar Beam consumes Gathering Moonlight to increase your damage again by 4% per stack for 12 seconds. So another tank one that only gives damage. Whereas note that the Druid of the Claw one is going to give you haste, which is defense. Keeper of the Grove. So Keeper of the Grove for Balance. Celestial Alignment gives you a Dryad for 10 seconds that gives you 70% effective Star Surges or 100% effective Starfall. Resto, Incarn or Convoke gives you a Dryad for 5 seconds that gives you a half power Tranquility and regrowths your lowest health ally at 200% effectiveness. Ooh, that's going to be really nice. For Balance, the 4-piece says when your Dryad fades, your next 2 Star Surges damage for an additional amount of damage equal to 5% of your damage done while your Dryad was active, and they splash 20% onto nearby enemies, reduced beyond 5 targets. Whereas for Resto, it makes your next Swift Mends heal based off of healing done while it was active, and splash healing for 25% instead of 20% effectiveness. Wildstalker, for Feral, the rate at which the vines grow, is increased by 40%. Tiger's Fury causes it to grow on 3 extra targets. Whereas for Resto, the rate that the blooms grow is increased, and casting Regrowth with Clear Casting causes 2 extra allies to get symbiotic blooms. The 4-piece, Bloodseeker Vines have a 20% chance to trigger Bursting Growth every 2 seconds at 100% effectiveness. Each stack of vines on an enemy increases its damage taken by 30%. It increases the Bursting Growth damage taken by 30%. The Resto 4-piece, Symbiotic Blooms have a 20% chance to trigger the growth every 2 seconds at 100%. Each stack of blooms on an ally increases Bursting Growth healing taken by 30%. Okay, so basically the same thing except for the healing side. Evoker, Chrono Warden. Chrono Warden, Tip the Scales cooldown is reduced by 60 seconds is the 2-piece. The 4-piece, Temporal Burst causes Chrono Flames to strike 1 additional target and repeat 10% additional damage or healing up to a maximum of an amount. Flame Shaper, Engulf stokes your inner flame, increasing your damage and healing over time by 40% and increasing your chance to gain Essence Burst by 50% for 12 seconds, stacks up to 2 times, multiple applications may overlap. Dev Evoker 4-piece, consuming Essence Burst during Inner Flame fires an Essence Bomb at your target, which is also true for the Preservation side, but the Dev, it deals damage, for Prez, it heals. Okay. Scale Commander, 2-piece, while flying, and for 10 seconds after, during your Breath of Eons or Deep Breath, you command a squadron of 2 Drakthir who will attack your targets with Disintegrate and Pyre. Sick. 4-piece, while your squadron is active, your Mass Disintegrate strikes up to 2 additional targets, and your squadron assists you for 5 additional seconds. Oh my god, that's going to be so cool. Like, the 5-target Mass Disintegrate is going to be sick. That is very, very cool. Hunter, Dark Ranger, 2-piece. Black Arrow deals more damage. Bleak Powder deals more damage. Black Arrow gives you cooldown reduction on your main cooldown. It's funny that they just took away a talent that makes True Shot get random cooldown reduction, and now they're adding a hero talent set bonus that does it. 4-piece, Withering Fire's Black Arrow damage is increased by 25%. Consuming a Death Blow has a chance to cause all Black Arrow barrages during your next Withering Fire to fire an additional Black Arrow. Pack Leader, Pet damage increased by more for served, less for BM. And beast damage increased by 15%. Summoning a beast grants 8% haste, mastery, or crit based on the beast summoned for 8 seconds. The 4-piece says summoning a beast has a 25% chance to rouse the nearby wildlife into a stampede, charging your target, dealing damage over 7 seconds. Your chance to summon is increased by 100% while you have lead from the front. Sentinel, when Lunar Storm fades, gain Boon of Elune, causing your next 2 bombs or aim shots to deal arcane damage and have their damage increased by either 20% for MM or 60% for serve. 4 set, Sentinel damage go up. Abilities that consume Boon are guaranteed to apply 2 stacks of Sentinel. See, this is the kind of set bonus where it's like, man, I'm not going to feel this at all. Mage, Frostfire, 2-piece. Comet Storm, Ice Nova, Frostfire Burst. Meteor, Frostfire Burst, and Frostfire Bolt for fire and frost respectively deal 10% increased damage for fire or more damage for frost. Now, if this was Path of Exile, that would be a very different thing. And apply Ignite at 150% effectiveness for fire, or apply Ignite, dealing additional 30% damage over 9 seconds for frost. Frostfire 4-piece, Glacial Spike has a 100% chance to give you a free Pyroblast. Additionally, Pyroblast now benefits from Ignite for frost. For fire, Pyroblast has a 20% chance to give you a 100% effectiveness Glacial Spike that doesn't root, and Glacial Spike now benefits from Ignite. Oh, wow. Spellslinger. Arcane version says Arcane Blast damage goes up by 20%. Direct Splinter damage has a 50% chance to give you a stack of Harmony. Whereas for fire and frost, for frost, Ice Lance and Icicle damage goes up by 20%, and Splinter damage has a 25% chance to grant a stack of Cold Front. Spellslinger 4-piece, Orbs have a chance, so Arcane Orb has a 100% chance, and when Frozen Orb deals damage, it has a 15% chance to give you either Arcane Harmony or Cold Front. Upon reaching maximum stacks of Harmony, gain Intuition, or whenever Cold summons a Frozen Orb, give you 10% spell damage. Sun Fury, Spellfire Sphere damage bonus increased. Your Arcane Phoenix has a chance to cast an exceptional spell without consuming a sphere. The 4-piece, when your Phoenix expires, it gives you further beyond, even further beyond, granting lesser time warp and 10% increased spell damage for 10 seconds. Cool. That's going to combo nicely with like the Hyperthermia, I think, as well, for fire. And I guess for the Arcane Soul as well. Monk, Conduit of the Celestials. Heart of the Jade Serpent additionally triggers for 8 seconds at 100% effectiveness after you either Slicing Winds or Thunder Focus Tea. The 4-piece, Heart of the Jade Serpent, gives you 15% haste while active and for 4 seconds after. Master of Harmony. For Windwalker, and for Brewmaster actually, gaining Vitality has an increasing chance to cause your next Tiger Palm to give you a Harmonic Surge, which deals damage split between your target and other nearby enemies, and healing to up to 5 injured allies. The 4-piece says, casting Thunder Focus Tea guarantees your next 2 casts of Tiger Palm will trigger a Harmonic Surge, or casting something else guarantees it. For Brewmaster, we don't know what. Shadowpan. Flurry Strikes deal 30% more damage, and activating either Storm Earth and Fire or Weapons of Order instantly grants 10 stacks of Flurry Strike that trigger on your next attack at 100% effectiveness. 4-piece. Flurry Generation is increased by 100%. Flurry Strikes triggers every 120 energy spent during SEF or Weapons of Order. Okay, so very cooldown-y hero talent here. Herald of the Sun, 2-piece. Dawnlight does more damage and healing, and you gain Solar Wrath after Wings fades, causing Sun's avatar to linger for an additional 10 seconds. 4-piece. Solar Wrath increases the effectiveness of your spenders by 15% and grants you 2 Dawnlight. Lightsmith. Hammer and Anvil's damage is increased and healing is increased by 15%, and it can also be activated by something at 100% effectiveness. 4-piece. Hammer and Anvil now also grants a stack of Masterwork, causing your next Holy Armament to cast one lesser version of itself on a nearby enemy for each stack. Templar. Your Empyrean Hammer deals increased crit damage, and its crits have a chance to grant an additional stack of Light's Deliverance. The 4-piece, your Hammer of Light deals additional damage to its primary target, strikes 3 additional targets, and can now be cast one more time after Wake of Ashes and Eye of Tear. That's going to be really fun. Priest. Archon. Halos make extra insanity over 5 seconds, and Resonant Energy increases the damage of your Devouring Plague. Or for Holy, it gives you cooldown reduction on Serenity and Sanctify, and you get more healing on your Holy Words. 4-piece, while Power Surge is active, every 2 casts of Devouring Plague gives another Halo to the effect, up to 2 times. Sweet. Every Serenity or Sanctify gives another Halo instead, every 2 casts, up to 2 times as well. Oracle. Casting Prayer of Mending heals your target for a bunch for Holy. For Disc, the first bolt of each penance deals 200% more damage or healing. 4-piece, casting Premonition of Piety or Premonition of Solace grants 2 stacks of Insight at 100% effectiveness. Consuming a stack of Insight gives you haste. Multiple applications may overlap. Void Weaver. Void Blast and Penance damage is increased by 40%, and Void Blast cast time is reduced by 20%. 4-piece, Void Blast now also causes Entropic Rift to grow. Collapsing Void increases Entropic Rift's damage by more, and the damage of your next Mind Blast or Void Torrent is increased by up to 200% based on the size of the rift when it collapses. Deathstalker. Shiv increases the effectiveness of all Deathstalker damage effects and damage bonuses by 50% while active. Huge. Symbols does the same thing, but only by 30% for sub. 4-piece, Shiv has 2 seconds increased duration and consumes an application of Deathstalker's Mark when activated. Ooh, that's going to be really nice. And same for symbols. Fatebound, Ghostly Strike deals 50% increased damage and has a 4-second increased duration. Same with Kingsbane for Sin. Edge Case flips an additional coin, and activating Kingsbane or Ghostly Strike triggers its effect. 4-piece, having a lucky coin reduces the cooldown of Adrenaline Rush by 30 seconds, or Deathmark by 30 seconds, and Ghostly Strike by 15 seconds, or Kingsbane by 15 seconds as well. Okay. I assume this is just default. Like, I assume this is just like a passive. Trickster, 2-piece, Unseen Blade, deals 30% increased damage and has a 30% chance to immediately refresh its cooldown. Coup de Grace is the 4-piece, may now be activated a second time within 5 seconds, dealing 100% of normal damage. Farseer, Swiftness summons an empowered ancestor for 15 seconds that deals 10% increased damage and healing. The 4-piece, Swiftness reduces the cast time of your spells by 25%, mana cost 25%, and increases the recharge rate of Lava Burst and Riptide by 50% for 8 seconds. Stormbringer, Ascendance has a 100% chance to grant a charge of Tempest, and every 3 for Enhance or 6 for Ellie Awakening Storms, you now get a 6-second Ascendance proc. 4-piece, Nature damage increased by 3 or 5% for Ellie or Enhance respectively. Ascendance makes your next 2 Tempest gather a storm above the target that deals damage and reduced damage to nearby enemies after 1.5 seconds. Totemic, after you consume all the Whirling Element motes, you either cast a Downpour at 200% effectiveness at Surging Totem's location, or a Primordial Storm at 200% effectiveness. The 4-piece says after casting Downpour or Primordial Storm, and hopefully this triggers off the 2-piece as well, I assume it will, your next Chain Heal, Healing Wave, Lava Surge, Lava Lash, or Fire Nova cast again at 150% effectiveness. Warlock, Diabolist, Chaos Bolt, Rain of Fire, and Hand of Gul'dan cast at full power. Summon a Demonic Oculus up to 3. Consuming Demonic Art flings your Oculi at your current target, exploding for damage to the target and nearby enemies. The 4-piece, Demonic Oculi analyze the battle while active and deliver information to you as they explode, giving you intellect. Sick. That's really cool. Hellcaller, Mark of Xavius increases Blackened Soul damage by additional amount per stack. Malevolence increases the stack count of Wither by an additional 2 stacks. Casting Malevolence gives you 2 stacks of either Backdraft or Tormented Crescendo, and prevents Blackened Soul from consuming stacks while dealing damage faster for 8 seconds. Ooh, that's going to be really, really strong. Not something... Actually, and I guess you will feel it. You're going to get some Backdrafts or some Crescendos, so at least it'll change your gameplay a little bit. Shadow of Death, for Soul Harvester, the 2-piece, unleashes your Demonic Soul to assault your current target for 12 seconds, dealing damage. Okay, just doing damage. 4-piece, Demonic Soul damage is increased, Wicked Reaping damage is increased, your Demonic Soul generates 1 Soul Shard every 3 seconds while assaulting enemies. Warrior, Colossus, Demolish deals more damage, and crit damage for your abilities is increased based on the amount of Colossal Might stacks you consume, which is always 10, so for 10 seconds after you demolish, you'll deal 20% more crit damage. 4-piece, Demolish increases the crit chance of your next 2 Mortal Strikes or Shield Slams by 100%. Mortal Strike or Shield Slam crits increase your Rend and Deep Wound damage by 100% for 8 seconds. Thane, 2-piece, Thunderblast has a 35% chance to call down 5 ionizing strikes on affected targets. Each strike deals damage. 4-piece, ionizing strikes deal more damage and have a 20% chance to give you a Thunderblast back. Okay, so there's sort of a feedback loop here. Slayer, execute damage goes up. Executes have a chance to trigger a Slayer Strike at 100% effectiveness per stack of Overwhelmed on the target. 4-piece, Overpower and Raging Blow deal more damage, and Overpower or Raging Blow have a stack per Overwhelmed, or chance per stack of Overwhelmed, to trigger Reap the Storm at 100% effectiveness. All right, those are our set bonuses. My thoughts on these, some of these are really cool. Most of them I'm not too excited by, because most of them just increase the power of your hero talents, which your hero talent buttons, which are already the part in your rotation that does a lot of damage, and now they're going to be even more damage. And several of these I don't think you're going to feel really at all, which is my favorite thing about set bonuses, is when you do feel them. Now, some of these are sick as hell, and I'm really excited for a few of these, but a lot of them I think are pretty uninspired. lot of this one's going to be so sick. Getting an extra Hammer of Light. Like this one, you're going to feel you're going to be like bang, bang when you get your Hammer of Lights ready. Okay, let's take a look at the most important thing about the set bonuses. They're cosmetics. Here are the DK ones. Quick reaction, kind of mid. Here are the DH ones. Sort of reminiscent of a lot of the DH sets, actually, that they've already done, but I quite like this. In particular, obviously the green and purple ones are kind of the main colors, but I like this red one a bit as well. Druid, this one looks pretty similar to the Narrowbar one. Definitely a pretty Druid-y theme. A little bit of a weird kind of, the asymmetrical helmet's kind of throwing me off as well. I like this coloration here, the purple one. Evoker. Never going to see this because you're in stupid... Yeah, let's just look at the actual version of Evoker. Stupid as hell. Can't show any transmog except shoulders and belts. That's dumb. Hunter. Okay, kind of a magey hunter look. I like this. I like changes. And again, an asymmetric helmet as well. Interesting. Are all the helmets asymmetric? It looks like maybe that's the theme of this set. They're all like different on one side than the other. This mage one's definitely cool. Again, sort of reminiscent of the Violent Rebirth one, the Narrowbar set bonus, but I like it. Monk, okay. Monk doesn't have an asymmetric helmet because it's just got a bandana thing. Yeah, this looks dumb here, but I think that's because it's on a bald human. A bald human male frame. I bet this will actually look pretty good on some like race class combos. Yeah. I don't know, monk ones are really hard to make look good. Paladin, ooh. This is kind of sick. A lot of this comes from the glowiness. Oh, there's kind of a DHE themed one as well down here. Yeah, I'm into it. This is a cool one. Priest. Okay, Priest has some tight competition for cool set bonuses look. And this is really cool. In particular, this void themed one. Extremely sick. Rogue. Ooh, I like this really dark one. And then this one's kind of like a Kultiran color scheme. Yeah, interesting. Shaman, ooh. Very bold helmet thing. I like it though. I like the look of this. I think that using the helmet with other stuff or using the shoulders with other stuff are both going to be very real possibilities with this Shaman tier. Warlock, oh my goodness, look at the horns on that thing. Look at the shoulder pad. Look at the eye in the shoulder pad. Good golly. This is really something. I like this top one as well, where it's just big, ivory horns coming out of your head. Those are massive. Warrior, what is happening here? You just have, like, chains coming out behind you? Okay, I mean, yeah, aside from that part of the helmet, this is a fairly generic, like, this looks very similar to, the Aberrus tier, where it's just like, yeah, this is spikes and plate. But the helm is really cool. I imagine that these aren't going to actually look like that. I imagine this is just for the screenshot, and they're actually going to have, like, physics and, like, fall behind you and be sort of like hair that way. But that's still really sick. That's a really cool idea with the helmet, so I like this a lot. Then we have some mounts. We have a new raid mount. This one is Mythic Dimensius. It's a void dragon, so wow, this looks sick. Mythic Dimensius is going to be popping for sales. We have some other new mounts as well. We have a new Devourer here from Tazavesh, a new weird cosmic thing. I don't know. Also kind of Devourer-y. Royal Voidwing, just from a quest, it looks like. Nice. Cinder-Seared Elec from the Trading Post, very ornate. And then some other Trading Post recolors of it. A Redacted Source from Cartel Zei's, a Gear Glider here. The Gear Glider was the hard mode reward from Tazavesh the last time, so maybe this is the new hard mode Tazavesh reward. We have a vendor version of it too. Then we have some PvP mounts, a Gladiator's Fell Bat, Headless Horseman's Burning Charger, ooh, a Trading Post fire horse, and same with a Chilling and Ghoulish and Ghostly version. New Griffins as well, also all Trading Post. Oh my god, I'm already out of tenders. This sucks. A new Breeze Strider. Okay, this is going to be one that I can, I guess, save some tenders on. Then we've got some Void Flayers. Ooh, like Rashanan. Holy moly. This thing is sick. That is a crazy mount to be the Keystone Master one. Love it. Keystone Legend gets a recolor, a purplier one. There is a achievement Vigilante. Okay, for this one. Another one with an unknown source, another recolor of it. Then we have some, a kind of rock bird thing for a world quest, the Hope of Koresh. A vendor that sells for some new currency. This recolor, another recolor from Glory of the Omega Raider. That's a great achievement name. Then we got some other recolors from unknown sources. The Delver mount is this one. Okay. The Brewfest Bomber is here. Okay, a new Brewfest mount. That one looks really sick. Another use of this currency, this Void Creeper. Recolors from PvP, and more recolors. Koreshi Roamers, just some more Talbooks. We've got from Quest, from a drop, from unknown source, and from another drop here. Cool. Then finally, we have a new lean emote on the PTR, letting you lean back. Very cool looking. And we have Dimensius' model. We can see the true scale of Dimensius compared to Dalaran, compared to Stormwind City. And yeah, I guess these are just some of the animations on it. Where's N'Zoth? Oh, there's N'Zoth. There's the size of N'Zoth. Yeah, so Dimensius is rather large. Wow. Looks pretty cool as well. And that's it. That's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed. I'll have more 11.2 PTR stuff coming out over the next couple of days. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.